Welcome back to another week of Impossible VHS, the archive on Sundays. I'm glad you are here.
Hi, I'm Diggy. I want to be clear, I'm not sure why they asked me specifically. There were 3 other people available, even an orc or last week a phone. I think he wanted to see what would happen. So, this is what happens. This is Impossible VHS. Episode... I should know this, hold on. Okay, episode 7. The one where Mike hired us. I noticed the cold beverage unit was 2 degrees above optimal that day. Most people couldn't hear it. Sorry, doing it again. Enjoy the show.
Chapter 7. Mike. The contractor forum had a section called Crew and Staffing that Mike had scrolled past 11 times without stopping, because stopping meant admitting he needed help, and needing help meant the job was bigger than he'd signed up for. And the job being bigger than he'd signed up for was something he'd been successfully not thinking about since the fungal world. He stopped on the 12th scroll. The Davos situation had clarified something. Not about Davos specifically. Davo had made a reasonable decision, and Mike didn't blame him, and Terry had sent what amounted to an apology through the ship's notification system the morning after, which read, "I want to acknowledge that the timing of the purge was suboptimal and that Davos' departure was partly attributable to the atmosphere I created, literally and figuratively. I've been thinking about this. I have some thoughts about how to handle future crew interactions more effectively, and which Mike had read and not responded to, because responding would have opened a conversation he didn't have the bandwidth for at 6 a.m. in a way station parking structure. What the Davos situation had clarified was this. Mike had been running jobs that were sized for one person and a semi-functional AI phone and a therapy fungus. And the jobs that paid well enough to matter were not sized for that. They were sized for a crew. The contractor systems tier structure was explicit about this in the way that contractor systems were explicit about things, which was buried in section 7.4 of the rate documentation that PingThot had summarized as higher payload jobs require minimum crew certification of 3+ operator when Mike had asked directly. 3+ operator. He was the operator. He needed 3. He sat with this for a moment. The notebook was open on the console next to him. He'd been doing calculations in it, road efficiency stuff mostly, the kind of math that came naturally and that he'd been doing more of lately without fully examining why. He closed it, opened the forum. He thought about what he actually needed, not what would be convenient or what would cause the least friction with Terry. What the jobs required. Someone who knew ships. Someone who could navigate the gray areas of the contractor system. Someone who could do the work without needing it, explained every time. He thought about Davo. Davo had known ships. Davo had known the system. The problem with Davo had not been professional. It had been biological, specifically guacamole related. And the guacamole problem was Terry's problem, not Davo's and not Mike's. But Davo was gone, and the lesson Mike had taken from Davo was not don't hire people, but hire people who can be in the same room as Terry without a purge event occurring. That was a specific quality. He was going to have to screen for it. He opened the crew and staffing section and posted, Operator seeking crew. 3 positions, Corridor 9 area, non-standard zone adjacent GX-40 vessel. Recently serviced jobs. Delivery, transport, occasional hazardous pay. Contractor standard plus percentage. Requirements, show up, do the work, no drama contact via forum DM. He looked at it for a moment, added, ship has a bathroom situation. Not a problem, just worth mentioning. Posted it. Terry said nothing for 4 minutes, which was unprecedented. Then, I saw the posting. I know you saw the posting, Mike said. I think it's a good idea, Terry said. I want you to know I support this fully. Thank you, Terry. I also want you to know that I have some thoughts about the selection process, specifically about criteria and red flags. I've been compiling a list of red flags based on my observations of contractor forum profiles, and I think it would be useful to... Terry. Yes. I'm running the hiring. A pause. Of course, Terry said. Absolutely. It's your ship, your crew, your decision entirely. Thank you. I'll just be here, Terry said. Available if you want input. Not offering it, just available. I appreciate that. The bathroom situation mentioned was a good call, Terry said. Transparency up front sets the right tone. I would have suggested including it. Terry. Tabling it, Terry said. Completely tabled. He got 19 responses in 48 hours. Mike read through them with the specific attention of someone who had learned in 4 years of gig work that what people said about themselves and what they were like to work with were related, but not identical datasets. 12 he eliminated immediately. 3 for obvious reasons he didn't examine too closely. 4 for reasons that were harder to articulate but felt correct. 2 because their messages had the specific energy of people who were going to be a lot, and Mike had enough a lot already in the bathroom. 1 because they had described themselves as a self-starter 3 times in 4 sentences, and Mike had found in his experience that people who needed you to know they were self-starters usually weren't. 1 response he eliminated because PingThot flagged the sender's contractor ID as
associated with 3 separate insurance disputes and a pending liability review,
which was the kind of information Mike had learned to take seriously. That left 6. He read the 6 carefully. 3 of them were fine. Qualified, available, no obvious problems. The kind of people you'd hire without thinking too hard about it and who would do the job adequately, and that was probably enough. 3 of them were different. Not better exactly. Just different in a way that caught his attention without being able to say why immediately. The first one was named Jason. The message was 4 sentences. Corridor experience, navigation certification, currently available. The 4th sentence said, I should mention I have some aftermarket components that require occasional maintenance windows. Doesn't affect the work. That was it. No elaboration. No preemptive defense of the aftermarket components. Just information, cleanly offered. Mike read it twice. The thing that caught him was not the aftermarket components. Plenty of contractors had modifications. It was practically standard in the non-standard zones. It was the 4th sentence itself. Most people would have buried that information or not mentioned it at all. Jason had put it in the message because it was relevant, and not putting it in would have been a small dishonesty, and Jason apparently didn't do small dishonesties. That was a quality worth noting. The second one was Lewis. 3 sentences. General contractor experience across multiple zones, strong mechanical background, available immediately. The 3rd sentence said, I work better with a crew that doesn't ask a lot of personal questions. Also, just information. Mike found this not concerning but clarifying. He didn't ask a lot of personal questions himself. He'd spent 4 years doing a job where the package was the package, and what was in it was not his business. That translated. The 3rd one was someone called Diggy. The message was the longest of the 6 at 8 sentences, which given the others felt almost verbose. Sensory certification, a category Mike hadn't encountered before. Extensive zone experience. And what he described as a reliable system for managing perceptual input in high-variance environments. The last sentence said, I'm good at finding things. Parking, routes, problems before they're problems. References available, but most of them are in systems you probably can't access. Mike read that last sentence 3 times. Problems before they're problems. That was a specific skill, not a common one. The kind of thing you developed through experience that had cost something. He sent DMs to all 3, asking if they could meet at Way Station or Veth 7 on Thursday. All 3 responded within an hour. Jason said, Thursday works. Lewis said, I'll be there. Diggy said, I know where that is, and nothing else. Wednesday night, Mike told Terry about the Thursday meetings. 3 candidates, Terry said. Can I ask about their profiles? You can ask, Mike said. I'm not going to read you their messages. I understand, Terry said. I just want to be helpful. I've been thinking about what went wrong with Davo, and I think the issue was that I prioritized my own responses over the goal of making him feel welcome, and I want to do better with these three. Mike looked at the bathroom door. This was, he had come to understand, how Terry operated. Genuine self-reflection delivered without warning in the middle of unrelated situations, followed by an immediate pivot to specific questions. The reflection was real. The pivot was also real. Both happened fast enough that the emotional whiplash was its own recurring experience. I appreciate that, Terry, Mike said. Just let them settle in before you start with the questions. How long is settling in? Terry said. More than 20 minutes. That's quite a long time. It's really not. What if I have something genuinely useful to contribute before the 20 minutes is up? Then it can wait 20 minutes. A pause. What if it's time sensitive? Terry. I'm asking hypothetically. Hypothetically, it can still wait 20 minutes. Okay, Terry said. 20 minutes. I can do that. I want to be clear that I'm committing to this genuinely and not just saying it. I believe you, Mike said. I have some thoughts about first impressions, Terry said. Specifically about the bathroom. I want to make sure my introduction lands correctly. I've been thinking about tone. Mike turned off the light in the main cabin. I'll table the tone thoughts, Terry said. For now. But I want to revisit them in the morning. Mike went to sleep. From the bathroom, after a moment, very quietly, 20 minutes is actually quite reasonable. I think I've been approaching this wrong. Way Station or VETH 7 had a common area near Bay 14 that had the quality of all common areas in non-standard way stations, which was that it was designed for function rather than comfort, but had accumulated comfort anyway through long use. The specific worn-in quality of chairs that had held a lot of different weight, tables that had supported a lot of different elbows, a lighting situation that had probably been correct once and had drifted into something warmer and more forgiving over time. Mike got there early and got a table and ordered something that PingThot translated as coffee adjacent, and that tasted like coffee if coffee had made some different decisions early in life. He had the notebook with him. He'd been carrying it more regularly lately, not for the astronomy calculations exactly, though those were in there, but because having something to write in meant he had somewhere to put observations that didn't fit anywhere else. He put it in his jacket pocket when Jason walked in. Jason arrived first, tall and moved with the slight, deliberate quality of someone managing the relationship between their body and its components in real time. The left arm had the almost right quality of aftermarket work. Convincing at rest, slightly different in motion, the way a dubbed film is convincing until someone laughs. A quick scan of the exits when coming in. Not obvious unless you were looking for it. Mike was looking for it because he'd been in enough places where exits mattered to have learned to watch for people who watched for exits. Jason sat down across from Mike and said the name and shook hands, and that was the introduction. The left arm sent a notification while they were shaking hands. A glance at it with the expression of someone receiving an email they already know the contents of.
Premium tier,
Jason said.
meaning the notification. 2 months behind. It still works.
Noted, Mike said. Lewis arrived 4 minutes later. Average height, average build, the kind of person whose physical presence was correct in every individual detail and slightly off in aggregate in a way Mike couldn't locate specifically. Sat down, said the name, shook hands, reached briefly for something on the left side that wasn't there, didn't comment on it. Diggy arrived last, which Mike had expected without knowing why. Shorter than the other two, and had the particular stillness of someone whose internal processing ran faster than their external presentation. Sat down, and, before Mike could say anything, said,
The cold beverage unit in the corner has been running 2 degrees above optimal since the compressor service. I noticed when I came in. Probably not relevant, but I thought I'd mention it.
Mike looked at the cold beverage unit in the corner. Then, at Diggy. How did you...
It hums slightly different
Diggy said.
when the temperature variance is off. Most people can't hear it.
A pause.
Sorry, I do that. It's not always useful.
It's fine, Mike said. Jason and Lewis were looking at Diggy with the expression of people who had seen this before. Mike looked at the three of them. They were not looking at each other in the way that strangers don't look at each other. They were not looking at each other in a different way. The specific, careful not looking of people who know each other and have agreed not to perform knowing each other. You three know each other, Mike said. It wasn't a question. A beat, Jason said.
We've worked together.
Lewis said nothing. Diggy said,
It was a previous engagement. It's not currently relevant to the job.
Mike looked at them for a moment. He thought about asking. He was not by nature a digger. He had spent 4 years in gig work developing the professional and curiosity that the job required, the ability to pick up a package and deliver it without needing to know what was inside. He applied this to people with reasonable success. He also thought about the jobs he wanted to take, the higher-tier deliveries, the corridor work that paid well enough to matter, the kind of work that required people who had done enough that they didn't need to perform, having done enough. Okay, he said. He told them about the ship, the GX-40, recently serviced, thruster calibrated per the contractor forum thread, the tier structure he was working toward, the percentage split he was offering, the fact that the jobs would get more interesting as the rating improved and the access opened up. He told them about Terry last. He described Terry accurately and without editorializing. Bioswarming device, ship sanitation integration, high intelligence, communicative, and watched their faces do the thing faces do when they're deciding whether something is a problem. Jason said.
Does it affect the work?
No, Mike said. Lewis said.
Does it have opinions about crew members?
Mike considered how to answer this accurately. It's working on that, he said. Diggy went still for exactly 3 seconds, came back.
Said it's fine. The bathroom has good acoustics. It's probably been lonely.
Mike looked at Diggy.
Sorry,
Diggy said.
I do that too.
They said yes, all three. Not enthusiastically, more in the way that people say yes to reasonable offers when they're available, and the alternative is staying where they are. Mike flew back to the ship alone. The meeting had taken 43 minutes. He knocked on the bathroom door. They said yes, he said. All three. They're coming aboard Saturday. That's good news, Terry said.
I've been thinking about what to say when they arrive. I've drafted some options. Would you like to hear them?
No, Mike said. Okay, Terry said.
I'll play it by ear. Naturally. Conversationally.
20 minutes, Mike said.
20 minutes,
Terry confirmed.
I'm ready. I think this is going to go well, Mike. I have a good feeling.
Mike made coffee. Outside, the corridor between way stations stretched in both directions. Somewhere in it, Jason and Lewis and Diggy were making their way toward a GX-40 that needed a crew and had a bathroom situation and an operator from Missouri, who had stopped looking at stars long enough to end up among them. He took out the notebook, wrote down 3 names: Jason, Lewis, Diggy. Wrote previous engagement, not currently relevant underneath them. Then wrote the coordinates of the way station they'd just met in, because he was still doing that, still noting where things were, still keeping track even when nobody had asked him to. PingThot sent a notification.
3 new crew registrations pending confirmation. Also, 2 new jobs available in your area. 1 is flagged hazardous.
Mike confirmed the crew registrations. Took the hazardous one. Terry said,
I've been thinking about names for the crew, not to assign names, they have names, but terms of address that convey warmth without presuming familiarity. I have a list. It's short, relatively.
Terry, Mike said.
Tabling it, Terry said. Completely tabled. Until Saturday.
Well, I am finally really back. I've been, on holiday. A Jet 2 holiday, if you get my meaning. I guess that is now an old reference that no one who listens to this will get because the author is in his late 40s, well above the age of folks who might only be 10 years too old to get the reference. Well, we will see you next week on the archive.